Okay, so let's get started this morning. I'm really excited about this class. I think that you will learn a lot in this course. I wish that we could meet face to face in a classroom. That's how I prefer to teach, but I think we're still going to be able to do a good job here of learning how to write. I have a lot of videos and I have a lot of practice activities for you guys to do during the week, and I hope that will help you. If you ever have a problem or a question, I want you to email me, and I like emails, so you can send me 10 emails every day if you want to. It's no problem, okay? An email if you have any questions about the class, about Blackboard, about what we're studying, okay? So let's get started here. We have here, you can see a picture of our book. It's called The Writer's World, Sentences and Paragraphs. Okay, there was a problem in the bookstore because somehow they got the wrong book, I think. So I don't know if this book is available in the TCC bookstore, but there is a way for you to get your book where you can read your book online. Okay, and I posted a video in the folder in Blackboard, in lessons folder, and I also have instructions and information in the announcements page, the first page or the first place on our Blackboard. If you go down on the announcements, you'll see information about how to get this book, okay? This week we're starting in chapter 8 of the book, and we're going to switch around different chapters every week, okay? We're starting with sentences. So we want to look at subjects and verbs, all right? So let's get started. The lesson for today is to identify simple and compound subjects, okay? And then next week, we will finish these other two. Next week, I'm going to do a video on identifying prepositional phrases and then looking more at verbs and how to use verbs, okay? So if you have a piece of paper and a pencil, I recommend you write down some information here that will help you as we're going. You don't have to write everything you see, but you can take a few notes, or you can take a picture of the screen if you want to. Okay, so this is coming from pages 135 to 138 in your book. Okay, so let's talk about what a sentence is. Let's see, Alan, I'm going to choose you because I've had you for several classes before, and I know you like to give a lot of answers. So can you start us out today, this morning? What do you think a sentence is?
A sentence, well, I think a sentence is a few words that are built to express something.
Okay, that's good. So some words that are kind of put together to create some meaning. Okay,
Yes.
that's good. That's excellent. Let's see, Carolina, have you ever heard of subject? Do you know what a subject is?
Yes, is the thing or person or place that you're talking about in the sentence.
Okay, that's a good answer. So it's a person, a place, or a thing. That's pretty good, yeah. And then what about the word verb? Verb. Let me ask either Lucia, Sammy, or Gerardo. Can either of you tell me what is a verb?
The verb is an action. No, it's just an action.
Excellent. Yep. Okay, good. Thank you. So a verb is an action. Now, sometimes it's not an action, but the easiest way to think of it is as an action. And verbs can also be things like when we have the be verb. Like if I say, I am a teacher. Am is the verb, but it's not really an action. It's just called a stative verb. So we have some verbs that are not actions, but many of our verbs are actions, things you do. Okay, good job, class. Let's look at the PowerPoint here. Look at your screen and let's look at some definitions and examples together. So it says a sentence is a group of words that has a subject and a verb and it expresses a complete thought. So here's the important part. There's kind of three parts. Every sentence needs a subject, every sentence needs a verb, and it all needs to be a complete thought, which means it kind of makes sense. It has some meaning, like Alan said earlier. Okay. So if I have an example, what if I say my house? Is that a sentence? No. It has a thing in it, but it doesn't have any meaning. Okay? What about this? What if I say if I see you tomorrow? Is that a sentence? What do you think?
Yes, it is.
Okay, you think it's a sentence. Why,
Yeah.
Alan?
I think it's not.
Oh, good. We have some. Oh, and Gerardo says yes, it is. We got some debate happening here. This is good. I like it when we have different ideas. Okay, let's talk about it. I'm going to write it on the whiteboard so you can see what I mean, okay? We need to understand what complete thought means. So we said a sentence has a subject and a verb, and it is a complete thought, or it expresses a complete thought. So I asked the question, is this a sentence?
Yes. Yes,
And
teacher.
then here it is right here. If I see you tomorrow. So a couple of you say yes, it's a sentence.
No,
What do you think, Sammy?
it's not a sentence because
Okay.
this sentence is not and not to
It's,
be and.
and it needs to have an and or an end.
And
Oh, you're saying end, E-N-D?
yes,
Okay, so it's missing something.
yes.
You're saying that it's missing something. Well, what if I just capitalize? Because we all know that sentences need a capital letter uh, in the beginning, and they also need a period at the end. Okay, so Gerardo, you're saying it's not a complete idea. So even if I capitalize and I put a period at the end, this right here is not a complete thought. It has a subject and a verb. The subject is I, the verb is see. Okay, so it has these two, but it does not have a complete thought. So you guys are right if you said no. And it's kind of hard to write on my board here. It's not exactly even. So it's not a sentence. You're correct if you said it's not a sentence. Why? It's not a complete thought, right? So it doesn't make sense by itself. We still are asking the questions like, what do you mean? Like if I say, hey guys, if I see you tomorrow, and you think, okay, but what's going to happen if you see me tomorrow, right? So when we make a sentence, we need to look for subjects and verbs, but we also need to make sure it's a complete thought. Does anybody have a question about that?
No. No, teacher.
Okay, good. So here's a good example of how we can create a complete sentence with this one. If I see you tomorrow, I'll be so happy, right? So now we have a complete thought that we have. So we make this is now one sentence, okay? And in this class, we're going to talk a lot about subject and verb pairs, and I'll explain that more as we go on. But we've got I as a subject, see as the verb, and also we have I as a subject, will be is also the verb. So this is one sentence, but it has two of the subject-verb pairs. Okay, I call them pairs, two subject-verb pairs. Pairs, like a pair is when two things go together. Like you have a pair of shoes, right? Pair of socks. So it's two things that go together. And these are subjects and verbs that go together. I and see and I and will be. So it's still one sentence though. And sometimes that can be confusing for students. They think, oh, it looks like two sentences. No, it's not. Remember what we said about the first part. It's not a sentence by itself, right? So we need to be careful of saying, oh, it's a subject, it's a verb, that means it's a sentence. No, not always. Okay? So let me know if you have a question about that. And if not, I'll go back to the PowerPoint.
No.
Everybody good?
Yes, it's good.
Okay, so let's go. Oh, everybody's good. Okay, Harada, thank you. Let's go back to our PowerPoint here. We're talking about sentence. Let's go to the next one. A subject is always a noun and it has a conjugated verb after it. Now that can be a little bit confusing for people. First of all, let's talk about a noun. Let's see, Lucia. Lucia, can you turn your microphone on and tell me, do you know what a noun is?
A noun is just a thing or an article or a place.
Place, okay.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, pretty good. I like that answer. A noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. Okay, good. You can turn your microphone back off. Good, thank you. A noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. So we will look at a couple of examples of some confusing nouns in a minute, but you guys are right. Most people think of nouns as like a person or a place, okay? Now, might be harder. Does anybody know what conjugated verb means? Because it's not the same as just any verb, every verb. It's a special kind of verb. Anybody know what that means? You can turn on your microphone and tell me, or you can type it in the chat box. What is a conjugated verb? Okay, Lucia, you know. I want to see. Go ahead.
I think it's an action that we can do, or I don't know how to explain. It's
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, teacher.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
It's okay. You're on the something we can do. Okay, Gerardo, what do you think?
I think the conjugated verb is when the verb has a link with the noun.
Okay.
So that's the action that helps the noun to describe something, or probably I'm
Okay.
wrong.
That's a very close definition. I like that. Thank you for that. Conjugated verb, if you want to, you can write this down. A conjugated verb is a verb that is changed to show tense. Okay, and I might need to write this on the whiteboard because I'm using a lot of new words here. It's a verb that shows tense and subject. So let me write that, okay? This is key. This is so important for this class. A conjugated verb means it's a verb that shows tense and subject connection. So tense is a thing like past tense, present tense, future tense. Let's give an example here. Is this a good conjugated verb? Right here I have this verb want. Want is a verb. Is it conjugated? What do you guys think? Is want conjugated?
She want a hamburger. Mm,
I think
Want
no.
and hamburger.
I got a subject, I got a verb, right? Isn't it good?
Yes, I think, but I think it's missing the she wants a hamburger.
Okay, so this verb want is not conjugated. Why? Because it's not showing the subject connection with the tense. So the tense is what we call simple present. We learn about that in grammar class, okay? But the subject, where is the subject connection? It's not here. When we have she, he, or it in simple present tense, we're supposed to put an S here, right? You guys know that from basic grammar. We need an S
Yes,
here. Yeah. So
there is
you're
missing letter.
exactly. Good, Lucia. You're recognizing that, yeah, this looks like a good subject, but something's wrong with the verb. It's not conjugated correctly. We have a verb, but it's not a conjugated verb. This verb that we put here is just a base form verb. It's just kind of, it's not correctly matched in the sentence with the subject. Okay? So when I say conjugated, I'm talking about the tense and the spelling of the verb. I want you to think of how is this verb spelled? Okay? How is it spelled? So let's do one more example. What about this one? EB in my class last year. Is that good?
No.
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 But I have a
No.
subject. I have a subject and a verb, right? I got he. I got my be verb. I'm good, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What, Alan? Can you tell me what do you think is happening here? What's wrong with the verb here?
The V verb is not correctly conjugated.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be he was in my class last year.
Okay. Now, how do you know it's supposed to be was? Because remember in my first one I'm using present. So can I just say he is? How about he is?
We need to see like the context around the sentence and
Yeah.
release that we're talking about past.
Yeah. It needs to be simple past. Okay. Right now with just be by itself, there's no tense. I don't know the time. Be doesn't have time right now. I don't know if it's past, I don't know if this is present, but I'm talking about the past. So I have to go back to the verb and I need to conjugate it correctly in simple past. So yeah, we need to change that to he was. Okay, so these are things that I know you guys kind of already know how to do, like you know how to make a sentence, but what I'm doing is I'm showing you how to talk about it because in this class I'm going to be giving you comments and feedback about your writing, and I'm going to say things like, hey, you didn't conjugate the verb correctly, or I might say, hey, your subject is missing, or your subject is wrong. You need to conjugate the subject and the verb. So basically it's a match. So think of subject and verb as like two pairs of shoes. Two pairs of shoes. If you go out of your house and you have one shoe that's black and one shoe that's green, do those match?
No.
Everybody will say, "What are you doing? Why do you have two different shoes? They don't match." That's the same as subjects and verbs. Like here, when we have he and then we have was, that's like matching shoes. They go together well. If we say he be, that's like wearing a high heel with a boot. They don't go together. They're not matching as a pair. Okay. So in my class, we will focus a lot on your subjects and verbs and how you're making your sentences. Okay. Good job, class. Any more questions before we go back to the PowerPoint?
No for me.
Okay. So let's go a little quicker here. Let's get through some more examples. Let's do a practice together. Now that we looked at subjects, let's identify subjects in these two sentences. Okay, so Carolina, you've been kind of quiet today so far. So I'm going to call on you for the first one. And then Sammy, I'm going to ask you about the second one. Okay, so Carolina, can you help us with the first one? Where is the subject?
My hometown.
Okay, why did you choose that?
Because the sentence is talking about the hometown.
Okay, so yeah, I remember Alan saying, hey, a subject, or I think it was Alan, he said a subject is when you have, it's what the sentence is about, right? I don't remember who's. Okay, so we're talking about hometown. Now, raise your hand at the bottom if you think Carolina is correct, that hometown is the subject. Raise your hand if you think that's correct. Okay, Sammy. All right, who else? Raise your hand if you think it's correct. Gerardo and Sammy, you're both agreeing with Carolina. Okay, well, we have about half the class that said yes and half that says no again. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's see, it was, I'm trying to think who else is in the class. Wait, Alan, it's you, and who else said no? Oh, Alan and Lucia. Alan and Lucia, you said no, that hometown is not the subject. Okay. Why? Why is it not the subject?
I think many people is the subject there because yeah, they're talking about hometown, but it is specifically no, hold on. No, I think yeah, hometown is the subject.
You can't change your mind. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I put this one here because it's confusing, and I like that. We need to be confused a little bit because it will help us learn. Okay, Gerardo, what do you want to say?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking, I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. Okay, so let's look at this a little closer. Some of you said hometown's a subject, all right? Well, then
Yes.
my next question will always, where's the verb, right? If you have a subject, you have to have a verb. It's like matching pairs of shoes. All right? So where's the verb?
Say.
Say, okay. So that
Say.
means hometown is the thing that's doing the action. Does your hometown say hi?
No.
No.
Okay, Gerardo, did you raise your hand again?
Me, teacher.
Say. What do you want to say about this?
Teacher, I think, well, I disagree with them
Okay.
because exactly, I think the subject is many people because say is the action of people. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a verb.
Yeah, Sammy, people or many people is the subject and verb. Why? Because the people are the noun, that's the right? We said it's a noun, but it does the action. The people are the ones who do the action. They say.
Yes.
Hometown is a place. Hometown is buildings and streets and shopping centers. And buildings and streets cannot say hi. When I
Yes.
walk downtown Fort Worth, I don't hear from the bank, oh, the bank is saying hi to me now. You know, it's only people that can do this action. So I put this one here because it's confusing. A lot of people think, oh, it's hometown because that's the first part of the sentence. That has to be the subject. But that's not true. Sometimes you have a noun at the beginning of a sentence, but it's not always the subject. Okay? So in your notes, make sure you label it correctly. Many people is the subject and say is the verb. Okay, are we ready for the second one?
Yes.
Okay. Sammy, I asked you to do this one. Tell us where the subject and verb are.
My daughter is subject, and wants to play, it's verb, and working is verb.
Oh, there's another one over there. This one's hard too, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we got wants to play and but why do they all look different? This one has a S. Play does not have a S. And this one over here has an ing. But I thought we're supposed to match them. Like aren't they supposed to be the same? To be conjugated?
No,
No.
Mm.
I'm trying to look for an example, another example in your book, if you have your book. Let me see. No, they don't have it in your book. I'm giving you guys some pretty tough examples because I want to push you, challenge you. Okay, actually, class, the subject is daughter, or you can say my daughter, and the conjugated verb is once. Once. That's the conjugated verb. Why? Because it has a tense. The tense is simple present. If I also underline to play, that means this is part of a tense. But to play is not a tense. This is called infinitive. Infinitive. And infinitives don't have a tense. Let me give you an example. It to past. Past. And I said wanted. My daughter wanted. Do I need to say to played?
Yes.
Nope.
No.
Nope. I can't say to played because when we have a to, we always put what we call base form verb. There's no s. There cannot be ing. There cannot be ed because this is infinitive. Infinitive. And we learn about those in grammar too. I recommend a grammar class to be with writing because they kind of help each other. But so again, my daughter is the subject, once is the conjugated verb. Why? Because once has a tense and it also connects with my subject. The subject is like she, right? And I put that S there. To play is, it's kind of giving meaning to the verb more, but it's not conjugated, okay? It's not conjugated. Let me give you an example again. Let me go back to my, we're going slow through this today, aren't we? But I hope I'm trying to build a good foundation for you guys. Like, for example, is this okay? She to play soccer today. Is that okay?
No,
It's not, right? Because
no.
to play is not a conjugated verb. It's not conjugated. We can't use to and a verb to make it conjugated, okay? Even if I change the subject, I still cannot use this infinitive as a conjugated verb, okay? And Lucia, do you have a question?
No, teacher. Thank you.
Oh, okay. I thought you clicked on the raise your hand thing. Okay. So these are not conjugated verbs here. So what are they? They're called infinitives. They're infinitives. If you want to do a study on those, you can look that up and look at those a little bit more. They are important. They include a verb in them, but they're not conjugated verb, okay? Play is a verb, but it's not conjugated. Does everybody understand?
Mhm.
Okay. So we're learning a lot today, aren't we?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
This will help you because I've given you some practice to do in Blackboard. There's a activity. Gerardo, I saw you already tried it, and Sammy, you too, and I think it was Carolina. You also did the discussion board practice.
Yes.
It's a good place to go to kind of see what you think and what your classmates are doing. So do that this week. Go to Blackboard discussion board, and we're going to practice there looking at subjects and verbs, okay?
Okay.
So let's keep going here. The verb expresses an action or a state. A conjugated verb goes with a subject and it has a tense. Okay, so remember those two things. Oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I is also a subject, and am working is the verb. Am working is a verb, conjugated verb.
So, teacher, can
Yeah,
we find can we use two subjects or two verbs in just one sentence, or
yep,
when we have those we need to separate in two sentences?
yeah, that's a good question, Alan. Yes, you can use two subject and verb pairs. I call it, remember we talked about pairs. You can use two in a sentence. You can also use three or four or five. And I'm going to teach you how to put them together because a lot of students say, well, oh, I need to put a period or something here, or maybe I need a comma, right? And it's confusing sometimes, but and this is one sentence, but there's two subject verb pairs. Okay? So I is a subject, am working is a conjugated verb. Does anybody know the tense for am working? What tense is that?
It's
Present progressive.
Yeah, good. It's present progressive.
present progress.
It has tense. It's different tense from once. Once is simple present. So that's okay to have two different tenses in a sentence. Okay, so let's go quick question here. Are these conjugated verbs? Say, is that conjugated?
Mm, ye- yes, it is.
Well, it could be, but we have to know what the subject is first before we
Okay.
can know, right? We're not sure yet. But over in this sentence, many people say, yeah, this one is conjugated. Yes. So we can say, yeah, probably it is. Once. Once is definitely conjugated because it has the S. To play. What about this one?
Um,
Yes. Yes.
You think it's conjugated?
you say
You
because
remember what I said about this one?
it's not,
No.
it's not
The
because it's a infinitive or something.
right. It's an infinitive. When we have this to here, that's creating a piece. It's kind of like a function of a verb, but it's not a conjugated verb. Okay. What about am working? Is that conjugated, class?
Yes, it is.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, it is. Good. And what about running?
Yes, it is. Uh,
Yes.
yes, it is.
Okay, are you sure running is conjugated? Look at am working. This one has am
No,
with it.
no,
Together,
Oh no.
am working is conjugated, but running by itself is
no.
It's
not.
missing the beaver.
It could be a gerund, it could be an adjective. We don't know how they want to use that one yet. Let me give you an example down here with running. Running every day in the sunshine. Oh, it looks like a sentence. It looks like we have a verb. We've got sunshine. We got a period at the end. Is this a sentence?
No, it's not. It's missing a verb.
No.
No.
It's missing a subject and a verb, a complete verb.
Yes.
Okay, this is not complete.
I'm missing the subject.
Yeah, this one is missing pieces of a verb or pieces of a subject. This is nothing right here. It's just a phrase, or it can also be a reduced clause, but we learn about those later. basically, this is what we call a fragment. Fragment means incomplete sentence. It's not good. We cannot just put a period here and keep writing. Not good. All right. So by the end of my class, I want you to be really a lot better at recognizing quickly, oh, no, that's missing a subject. That's missing a conjugated verb, you know. So we have to practice this a lot, okay? Any questions, class, on this slide here? Any questions here?
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Okay, good. Well, let's move to my next one. I got a little picture here for you. So, in your book talks about simple and compound subjects. For me, it's not really very important that you recognize the word simple and compound. You don't need to get confused with those words. Basically, what it means is simple will just mean one, and compound means more than one. So look at this example. Guitars, lutes, and banjos are stringed instruments. So look at my picture here. This is a picture of a lute. This is a picture of a banjo. And this is a picture of a guitar. Okay? So they're instruments and they all have strings. So what is the subject in this sentence?
The three of them.
The
Yeah.
instruments.
How many of you think it has 3 subjects? Raise your hand if you think there's 3 subjects in this sentence. Push the raise your hand button. Do you think there's 3 subjects here? Okay, Lucia, yeah. Only one oh, okay, here we got some more. How many of you think there's 3 subjects? Okay, yes. Good. You are correct. You guys are correct. This sentence is one sentence, but it has 3 subjects. Okay? And what do you notice about between the subjects? What do you see here after guitars and after lutes? What is this called?
The comma.
Yeah, it's called a comma. Okay, so we put the commas there to separate subjects or separating nouns. Okay, notice the verb is conjugated correctly. It is are. Why do we use are? Because we have 3. We cannot put is. We need to use the correct verb to show the tense and to connect with the 3 subjects. If you put is here, that's like you're walking out of your house with a black shoe and a green shoe on. Okay? You didn't connect them correctly. They're not a pair. So we're using are. Okay? Stringed, is that a verb too? Looks like past.
No.
But my grammar teacher said ed means past.
Yeah.
Is stringed a verb?
No. No.
Yeah, some of you are like,
Teacher,
oh my God, too many questions. Okay, what's
teacher,
your
I
question?
was checking the meaning of the string, and it's not clear for me the meaning of this word.
Oh, stringed. The meaning of stringed?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
yes, good. Good question. Stringed means it has strings. Do you know when you play the guitar, you have to pluck those long, straight, it's kind of like a wire.
Okay.
Those are strings.
Okay. But
Okay.
as a verb,
But yeah, right here, class, this is not a verb. Stringed is not a verb. It's not a conjugated verb. It's not a verb. Right here, this is actually an adjective. It's describing the kind of instrument. It's describing something about the instrument. It's stringed. That means it has strings. Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's another thing to remember when we're writing. Just because we see ed, it does not mean that's in the past. Okay? We need to be careful because we have a lot of ed words that are not in the past. Another example, if I say, I am tired. I am tired. Tired has ed, but it's not in the past. I'm talking about now, right? I am. So tired is not a conjugated verb. It's actually an adjective. Okay, we'll talk about those probably later. Let's go to the next one. We're almost done here. And here's a couple of things that get kind of confusing when we talk about subjects. So unstated subjects are subjects that we don't say or write. And these are used in commands. So in a sentence that expresses a command, the subject is unstated. That means we don't say it, but it's still there. We still know what it means. So for example, if I say, hey guys, welcome to class. Okay, practice every day. Practice every day. Yes, that is a correct sentence. What is the subject?
It's incomplete.
Well, it is complete, but it's a special kind of sentence. Because it's a command, I'm telling you to do something. The unstated subject is always you. And I'm going to venture out a little bit and say this. When I studied Spanish, I remember seeing sentences that they didn't list the subject there, but you know what the subject is. It's called, this right here is called imperative form. Imperative. The subject is always you. So we don't need to put you here. Okay? It's a good sentence by itself like this. But this is the only time that you can take out the subject is because it's a command. Okay, guys?
Yes.
All right. Good. Let's go to the second one. Here and there are not subjects. These are confusing too. If I say, here is my iPod. Here is my iPod. The subject is my iPod. This is one of those special situations where we put the subject after the verb.
Okay.
Okay, usually we do not put the subject after the verb, but this is one of those special exceptions. Okay, so my iPod is the subject, is the verb. Another example, 8 students is the subject, are is the verb. Okay, why do we put it like this? Because it's special when we have here and when we have there. Okay, does anybody have questions about this page? This page here. Just let me know if you have a question.
No.
No, no, teacher.
No.
No, teacher.
Okay, well, we're doing good so far. Are we ready for some practice?
Yes.
I think we need to practice everything we just talked about. So let's do this one together. Here's what I'm going to do, okay? I want you guys to talk for a few minutes. I'm going to go get a drink of water. I want you guys to discuss these. Number 1, what is the subject and what is the verb? Okay? Number 2 and number 3. Okay, I'll be back in a couple minutes. You guys talk together. Turn on your microphone.
So I think in
First
the
one, I
first,
think that the subject is most cultures.
yeah, me too. I think the same.
I just realized something, guys. Hold on a second. Let me share something with you here. I got to get my PowerPoint. There we go. Oops. Can you guys see my PowerPoint screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Okay. Now,
Okay.
talk together. Everybody turn your microphones on. I want you to talk together about number 1, 2, and 3. What are the subjects and what are the conjugated verbs? Okay.
Okay, the first one is most cultures, the subject,
Yes, I'm agree.
and the verb is use.
Yes.
The second one, many young people, the verb listen.
Listened,
I don't
yeah.
know. Okay. And the third,
Just
two students. Mhm.
have
The verb.
the verb.
We are ready, teacher.
Okay. Was that you, Lucia, talking? That was you, right? Lucia, was that you talking?
Yeah, teacher. How can I send you a message like Gerardo in this in this
Okay.
video? I don't know how to do it.
You can send a message if you go to the bottom right side of your screen and click on that little box. I think it's a purple box. Open that, and then you see a little bubble. It's like a little circle. That's the chat box. If you click on that, you can type a message. Do you see it?
Oh yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, type a message and then push
I,
enter. Yeah, you
oh
guys can
yes.
talk to each other in that if you want to. Okay, so let's
I
look
found.
at this one together. Number 1, you guys said most cultures and as the subject, and then use is the verb. Okay, is that the only conjugated verb? Dance is not a verb, or celebrate, to celebrate.
Hmm.
I just wanted you to look at it. It might be confusing because you see dance and to celebrate, but in this sentence, use is the verb. It's the only conjugated verb. So you guys are correct. Okay? So you guys did good. Most cultures use. Now, how do you know what the subject is? You want to look for a person, place, or thing that's before the conjugated verb. And you can also, I wrote down some tips. You can use, ask the question who or what. So I could say, for example, who uses music and dance to celebrate? The answer is most cultures. Who or what uses music and dance to celebrate? The answer will be most cultures. So most cultures is the subject. Let's look at number 2. Many young people is the subject. Listen is the verb. So how can I find the subject? I can ask a question. Who listens to loud music on their smartphones? The answer is many young people. So many young people is the subject. Okay, and number 3, 2 students is the subject. Have is the verb. So you guys were correct. Ringing has ing, but in this sentence, it's not part of the verb. So have is the conjugated verb. So here are my notes for you. When you're looking for subjects and verbs, ask who or what, and then put the verb. Like, who has constant ringing in their ears, right? Who listens to loud music? Who uses or what uses music and dance to celebrate? So we ask a question that will help us find the subject. And then my second point is to help you is to learn about verb tenses. That will help you identify verbs, okay? So there's your answers. Cultures is subject, use is verb. People is subject, listen is verb. Students is subjects, have is verb. And your book talks about what we call a simple subject. Simple subject would mean just one word. Like, look at number 1. We have most cultures, right? Most is not actually a noun. So if we want to really find the subject, we need to look for a noun, a person, place, or thing. And that's going to be the word cultures. That's what we call the simple subject. So the complete subject would be most cultures, but the simple subject is just cultures. Number 2, the complete subject is many young people. The simple subject is just the word people. Okay? Because people is the noun. Any questions, class?
No, teacher.
No,
Okay.
No.
Oh, yeah, so that's the end. So what we're gonna do, let's see, how are we doing? Okay, good. I want you guys to take what we've learned today. I know we talked about a lot of things. I want you to take your notes on what you learned today, and when you get your book, there's a couple of practice activities in your book. I want you to do those. And the practice activities, you're going to be circling the simple subject. They have 2 practices, practice 1 and 3. You're going to circle the subject, okay? I will give the answers to practice 1 and 3 next week in my next video lesson on Tuesday. Okay, so the beginning of class on Tuesday in the video, I'm going to give you the answers to this. Okay, so these are 3 things I want you to do before Saturday, basically. So you have today and tomorrow. I want you to do these 3 things. So the first one is to read the syllabus plagiarism section. In my last video, we talked about plagiarism, and I showed you in the video how to find that section in my syllabus. You need to read that. It's very important for this class. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I want you to go back into Blackboard, and I want you on the lessons folder, and I want you to look for the video that I posted there. It's the first video in our lessons folder for this week, okay? And so you need to email me. And Gerardo, I already saw you emailed me, so thank you. So
Okay.
what is plagiarism and what does my teacher expect me to do when I write in this course. There's some important information. I want to make sure everybody understands the rule, the policy about copying. All right. And then practices 1 and 3 on page 137 and 138. You can write your answers on paper or in your book. You do not need to give me the answers. You just keep the answers on your paper, and then next week I'm going to share answers with you and you could ask questions.
Okay.
All right. And then the third thing is, like I said, 3 of you have already started this. You might want to go back and change answers, right? Yeah.
Probably.
I checked everybody's so far in the discussion, and I see it had some mistakes. And so that's good. All right. I really like it when you make mistakes and when you do things wrong in my class because that helps you learn. It helps me to know how to teach you and what you need to work on. So that needs to be done before tomorrow at midnight. I want you to go in Blackboard, click on discussion board on the left side of the screen, and you'll see the instructions there. I give you 5 sentences, and you need to label what's the subject and what's the verb in each of those. Subjects and verbs. Okay, guys?
Okay, teacher.
All right. I think that's enough to keep you busy for the next couple of days. And then I will see you guys back here on Tuesday. And we will continue talking about subjects and verbs. And then we're going to look specifically at prepositional phrases and a lot more about verbs. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Does anybody have questions before we go?
No.
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 Everybody good? You got thumbs up? Thumbs up means I got it, teacher. I do that in my classes, face-to-face classes. We always do our thumbs like, no, I need help. I need help. Okay. If anybody wants to stay here, I have a couple of more minutes. I can show you around Blackboard. If you need help finding things in Blackboard, I can show you on my screen. So does anybody need help right now before we go?
Me, teacher.
Need.
Okay, so Lucia, you stay here in the video, and Gerardo, Sammy, Carolina, Alan, I will see you guys next week, okay?
Okay,
See you.
see you, teacher. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Teacher, I have a
Okay.
question.
Okay, Carolina, go ahead.
Yesterday I bought my lab
Yes.
writing, and it is normal that I click on writing skills, writing practice, and it says server error.
Server error?
Yeah.
I don't think that's normal. You logged in
Yeah.
and I don't know to see that. Why don't you try this? Okay, after like you can get out of this video if you want and then go back to the MyLab, and then if you still have that screen, then do a screenshot and can you email it to me so I can see what it looks like?
Okay, teacher. Yes, I mailed it to you.
Okay, let's do that. And then what I can do is I can take that email and send it to one of the technical people that can help with that, okay?
Okay, teacher. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carolina, and I'll see you next week.
See you. Thank you.
Okay, so Lucia and Sammy, do you want me to show you some things in Blackboard?
Yes.
Okay, this is a good time to do it. My next class starts at 11:30, so I have a little bit of time here. So let me show you my screen. Okay, can you see the announcements page?
Yes.
Okay, Lucia, can you see it? And it's okay, Lucia, if you want
I
to,
see the.
you can see announcements. You can take off your video. Sometimes that helps with reception. You can turn off your video. Let me turn off mine too. Yeah, sometimes that will help you not get internet connection problems. So if you look at this page, this is the first page when you come to Blackboard. And I like yesterday, I posted this message here at the front, class meeting time. So I usually give messages here like every week. So come back and keep checking this page. Down at the bottom where you need to go and read this information about the book. Okay. Can you guys see this part? Number 2, the textbook. So I put in here the website to go to, and then a screenshot, a picture to show you what it looks like. And then also for my writing lab, you need to have my ID number. That's in the red letters. That's important when you're setting up your online exercises. Okay. Does anybody do either of you have a question about this,
Okay.
about the book or about my writing lab? Any questions?
No.
Okay. So let's go.
I couldn't answer.
Lucia, what's your question? Do you need
Question
help?
is when the part.
It's kind of hard to hear you. I can't hear you. Are you
I don't
talking
know
about
what's
getting the lab? You know what you can do, Lucia? Can you type in your chat box? Type down in your chat box and tell me what your question is, okay? That will help because the reception is kind of bad. I can't hear what you're saying. Okay, so I'll come back to your question. Let's look here around Blackboard. On the left side, you see you can click on the syllabus. This is what you need to do today and tomorrow, sometime today or tomorrow. Go through and read this, especially the yellow part. It's very important. Okay? Down here, it's about plagiarism. Plagiarism. I want you to read this and make sure that you understand what plagiarism is. Okay? So that's part of your homework. That's in the syllabus. Okay? And I want to show you the lessons too. Lucia, do you have reception? Can you speak or do you want to type? I think I lost her. Okay. It's hard when we have bad reception. Lucia, if you're there, you could also email me your question, okay? And we can schedule a time to come back here to the video. But on the left side, Sammy and Lucia, I want you to look at lessons. And this is where you go when you are doing your work. This is all the work that you need to do. Okay? So we're going to start at the top. The very first part, this tells you everything that's inside this whole folder. Course overview video, that's the first thing. Reading assignment, that's the second thing. The video on subjects and verbs, that's the third one. Today we're doing that video. This is the video we just did. So each thing that you need to do this week is down here. Discussion board, okay, is down at the bottom. So this week we're doing these things. You can click on this video and watch it. It tells you about our class, grades, how I'm going to check attendance and all that. And then today and tomorrow, you need to do your homework here. Like it says, practice 1 and 3. You do not need to submit this to me. You do not need to, this is not something you send to me, but you just do this in your book or on paper. And then remember I talked to you about the plagiarism. That assignment is right here too, okay? Then you go down, discussion board, okay? This one is due on Friday. I need you to do this by Friday night. So to do this one, how do you do discussion board? You're going to go over to the left side, okay? And click on discussion board. And you click here and give your answers to this, okay? Does everybody understand this part? Are there any questions?
Yes.
Okay, you got it, Sammy. So, Sammy, what was your question about? Was it the My Writing Lab?
No. Where's your email address?
Oh, my email. Okay. Let me show you where my email is. In the announcements page, go all the way down to the bottom. This is my email. Do you see it?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And
So,
Sammy, do you already have your My email?
yes. It's
Okay. I already sent you an email.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
You sent me email?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me make sure you know how to do the My TCC email. Do you know how to get to this page? And over on the left side, My TCC email? Okay, that is the place that I sent you an email already. If you open that, okay?
Okay.
Okay, what other questions do you guys have that I can help you with?
So we homework
Yeah.
is sent you email to about I
Plagiarism?
yes, yes.
Okay, so you don't know how to do that? You need help?
No, it's my homework is
Yes.
email you, send email to you.
Yes. Yes.
The
About plagiarism.
page. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's your homework. You have 3 things for homework. Send me the email, and then also do your homework in the book, and then do the discussion board. Now, if you're not sure what those are, I want you to go back to Blackboard, click on Lessons. Remember, we said that in week 1.
Yes.
And I want you to look in this folder. This
Oh, yes.
reading, yeah, this reading assignment, it tells you the homework,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And then down at the bottom, the discussion board, it tells you what to do,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, good. Anything else?
No, I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay, good. I'm so glad you joined me today, Sammy, and I look forward to teaching you more and helping you. So send me any emails this weekend if you have questions and stuff, okay?
Okay, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yes, you too. And do you know how to stop this video and get out?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, good. So I will
Thank
see
you.
you. I'll see you next week.
See you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Bye. Bye, Lucia.
Bye, Samani. Thank you, teacher. I had some problems with my internet, but
Yeah.
it's okay. I'm gonna check all
Okay.
my questions, and I'm gonna.
Okay. Sure, sure. Yeah, no problem. Okay, just let me know later if you have a question. You can email me.
Oh, your connection is poor right now. Okay. ¿Cómo le cuelgo?